everyone, it's Ann Werbinski here. I am going to show you guys how to make Murrinis this month. It's May Murrini month on the Beginner Lampwork Challenge page. So we're going to start with a couple of tools that we'll need. You're going to need some punties, 2 of them, one for either hand. I like to use larger sized stainless steel mandrels. You can use anything. You can use glass, you can use smaller sized stainless steel mandrels. You can use specifically made for pulling Murrini tools, you know, whatever you like to use. We're going to do a simple heart Murrini. We're going to need nippers, so you can use the wheeled nippers. These are like they can do parallel nipping, so I like to use those. You'll need a graphite marver. You're going to need some colors of glass. I'm going to do it with a red heart surrounded, let's see, outlined with darker red. So this is Effatre's medium red, and this is the dark red. It just gives a little bit of differentiation in there. I'm going to surround it by white, and then I'm going to give it some red stripes along the outside. Now these stringers I've pulled to about 2 to 3 millimeters. I'd say probably close, probably right in between the 2 to 3, and and potentially some tweezers. You might need your tungsten tweezers. That is it for supplies that you'll need for this Murrini. If you happen to have one of these, it is totally unnecessary, but if you happen to have one and have never used it, this will allow you to do exactly equidistant apart your stripes. So that's what this little guy is for. If you want it to make a star and you happen to have one of these, I'm going to show you in my next video how to use one of these. It is just a tool, again, totally not necessary, and especially for hearts. Hearts are quite easy. And I also have a flower one. They just, you know, stars and flowers are a little harder to make, so these were just some tools I bought early on, long before I learned how to really make Murrini. So we're going to freehand this heart. This heart is going to be free-handed, so no tools other than what I've got here for you. Alright, so we're going to heat up a decent sized gather of our medium red. I use a Carlisle Hellcat as my torch. It has an inner flame which is equal to the mini CC. And when I first started making Murrini, I can't remember how long ago it was. I want to say that I really got into it maybe 5 years ago. But before, my history of Murrini making is when I was 18, I started making polymer clay Murrini, long before polymer clay Murrini was a thing. I did it with miniatures, so I made food. I made little lemon and lime slices and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how my Murrini obsession, I didn't even realize that they made it in glass at that time. So when I saw it made with glass, I decided that that was definitely my calling. So what I'm doing here is I'm just getting a big size gather of red, of the medium red on here, on the tip of my punty. You can make this heart as big or as little as you want. I'm not going to go super tiny, but I'm definitely not going to make a huge one either. So I'm just filling in the crevices that I've left. And however you want to get your glass on there at this point is fine. If you like to swipe it on there, if you like to go just like what I'm doing is just winding it on there like I would if I were making a bead. So that's my medium red. And I'm just going to even this medium red out. Just going to get the whole thing hot and roll it on my marver. I'm going to get this tip here flattened so that it's not wasting glass. Okay, so it's not a barrel, it's a cylinder that I'm making here. It's about an inch long. I don't know. I'm not real good with sizes, so maybe a half an inch in diameter. Now I'm going to use my darker red, and I'm just going to swipe on around the outside of this red with my darker red. And that just gives it makes it more noticeable. So I'm just doing the swipe method. I start at the top, and with the heat of the flame pointed at that glass and where the two glasses are meeting, that allows me to easily swipe it on. Now if I want just a really thin swipe of color, I would hold this one, I don't know if I can do it, at a steeper angle and swipe down quickly. But since I want a fairly decent size, I'm going at it more at not quite a 90-degree angle, but not much under a 90-degree angle. And I'm going I'm catching that first bit of glass a little over the edge of my cylinder, and then I'm cutting it off with the flame over the edge of the bottom of that cylinder. I'm just going to go around until I reach where I started with these swipes. I'm keeping that core red cool so that it doesn't squish when I press this other red on top of it. It's just staying, it's warm enough to accept the glass, but it's not so warm that it makes a divot in it. Now I'm going to roll this out, and I want to take one little section at a time because I want to keep this as round as I've already got it. So I'm heating up a section, then I roll it on my marver. Heat up the next section, roll it on my marver. So this is just my outline of the darker red that I'm marvering down at this point. Okay. I want to make my ends flat, so I'm just going to heat up the end and push it in with my marver here. Heat up this end. And it's not going to go flat because it's kind of wonky, but I want it to be as flat as I can make it. And if I really want it to get to make sure it was all going to pull out, I would want to go back in there with my dark red and fill in any spots there. But since I'm okay with this, that's what we're going to go with.